Happy New Year, everyone. Hope your transition into the New Year's is going smoothly and you aren't screwing up on your resolutions already. One of my New Year's resolutions was to read more books because as a nerd, I've been slacking. The first book I read this year was The Unbeatable Squirrel Girl #1. I was actually really looking forward to this book. I like her character and I don't give two flying squirrels what any of y'all think about it. Squirrel Girl is not a guilty pleasure for me because I have no shame whatsoever. Squirrel Girl has always kind of just been around in certain books or background or following around certain characters, but never had a big spotlight until recently. So for anyone not familiar with the character, let me inform you. Squirrel Girl's real name is Doreen Green, and she was created by Will Murray and drawn by Steve Ditko back in the 90s. Doreen is based on an old girlfriend of Murray's who read comics and was into all sorts of critters and animals. And she was also a big fan of Ditko, which is why Murray requested him as an artist. The idea for her character came from Murray wanting to do something fun and carefree in comics again because things were getting all serious. Don't you remember in the 90s, everything was sex and violence and events and glossy, shiny covers? Squirrel Girl is a New Yorker, but originally from Los Angeles. She's a mutant with squirrel-like abilities and other bonus stuff, like she has a 3-foot tail, agility, a retractable knuckle spike, superhuman strength, regenerative healing factor, as well as something that resembles Longshot's luck, where the more powerful her opponent is, the greater her chances are of defeating him is. Maybe that genetic good fortune is why she was one of the lucky few to keep her powers during the whole M-Day thing. Marvel.com's Power Grid puts Squirrel Girl's powers on par with those of the Living Tribunal, which is actually pretty amazing. Yet heroes and villains alike take one look at her and her abilities and dismiss her. But that's only part of what makes her so effective, is that you underestimate her. Of course, she can also talk to squirrels. Any old squirrel will do. But she has a few regular pals by the names of Monkey Joe, Tippy Toe, Slippy Pete, Mr. Freckle, and Nutso. Also, if her appearance on the newer Spider-Man cartoon is related to the comics, then she also has a squirrel friend named Mr. Lieberman. She's also pretty clever, using squirrels and her resources to come up with unique plans for superheroing. Squirrels are clever, don't let anyone tell you otherwise. There's this one that keeps raiding my bird feeder. One day the bird feeder was empty. So homeboy thought it was cool to open the screen, get into the house, find the bag, and just stuff his face. I guess that's not so much clever as it is asshole-ish, but they don't take no for an answer, and they do what they need to do to get paid. Anyway, her story started when she decided to use her powers for good and become Squirrel Girl, who has also been referred to as the rodent and the slayer of all that breathes. I'm not kidding, that is a for real alias. But no better way to learn about superheroing than to become a sidekick, right? So she wanted Iron Man to take him under his wing, but he was busy with Dr. Doom and was all, nah kid, beat it. But when Iron Man was in trouble and Dr. Doom had Stark in an airship and was going to kill him all elaborately or whatever, it was Squirrel Girl who sent a bunch of squirrels into the ship to eat through wires and stuff and foiled all of Dr. Doom's plans. While the sidekick thing didn't pan out, she eventually hooked up with the Great Lake Avengers when she bumped into them trying to defeat Maelstrom, and she used the squirrels and helped out and saved the world. The world, that's a big deal. During her time with the GLA, she got pretty cool with Deadpool since he was always hanging around the headquarters for whatever reason. Deadpool gave Doreen Deadpool's Guide to Supervillains, which is a series of 4,522 educational cards written and probably drawn by Deadpool himself. They must have been useful because she's helped take out a bunch of villains over the years. So many, in fact, that S.H.I.E.L.D. even offered her a position because she was so good at kicking ass. Just to name a few asses she kicked aside from Dr. Doom, she beat the Mandarin, MODOK, Deadpool, Wolverine, Fin Fang Foom, Thanos, or at least a clone of him, and Ego, the Living Planet. As for S.H.I.E.L.D.'s offer, she declined because she wanted to stay true to her peeps over at the Great Lakes Avengers. After her work there, she took a job as a nanny for Luke Cage and Jessica Jones' daughter. I think her daughter's name is Daniel. So she lived at the new Avengers mansion. She really wanted the job in hopes that they'd hire her as a team member, but alas. But that didn't mean she was short on adventure, though. She got out here and there. She even managed to do a bit of time traveling in an effort to save her crush Speedball from becoming Penance. Never a dull moment. Since Squirrel Girl is so cute, fun, and powerful, I see all sorts of reasons for Marvel to be giving her a real push after years of people seeing her as a joke. She's totally marketable. and already appeared in recent Marvel cartoons and video games to get the ball rolling. And now, of course, she has her own series, which is great because I really hated having to search through random books to find stories with her. And rumor has it, if the book does well, though, that we could expect to see a Squirrel Girls animated series, which would be awesome. Considering there aren't many female lead cartoons that are targeted towards both sexes, Squirrel Girl could be a cartoon that little boys can watch and not have to worry about cooties and all that. But anywho, the Unbeatable Squirrel Girl #1 was really cute and really fun. The issue is really embodied what Will Murray created the character for in the first place. The issue starts out with Squirrel Girl and Tippy Toes hanging out on a tree in what appears to be Central Park. She's singing a Squirrel Girl parody of the original Spider-Man TV theme song while beating up on some muggers. Squirrel Girl likes to have fun. She's really only about 19 to 21 years old after all. And like most people her age, she's starting college. Getting a better education means you can become a better superhero, right? So she goes to the New Avengers mansion and starts packing up all her stuff because she's been squatting in the attic without their knowledge, as it is. And I find that hilarious because I know people who've had squirrels nesting in their attics. I've also lived on the top floor of a building and there was a hole in the wall, so squirrels used to nest in the wall. The Unbeatable Squirrel Girl is also the very likable Squirrel Girl, and she easily makes some new friends her first day of school. But the first day of school never goes smooth, right? And something's got to happen. So how about something random like Kraven the Hunter showing up on your campus? It was pretty funny because Kraven has been cursed to only be killed by Spider-Man and cannot die otherwise. So he's bored. He's really bored. Especially since he wants to hunt Spider-Man but is failing at it. He basically is kicking rocks on the lawn of the campus, but just replace rocks with squirrels. So Tippy Toe's in danger of getting squished by Kraven until Squirrel Girl shows up to save the day. She consults, of course, Deadpool's Guide to Supervillains and dives into fighting Kraven. When Squirrel Girl realizes that Kraven's just bored as hell and that they don't need to fight, she presents to him some options of bigger, stronger, and more challenging game to hunt aside from Spider-Man. Considering that Kraven can no longer die, hunting certain game is not as risky as it once was, right? So with newfound purpose, Kraven heads off to fight the Kraken or Giganto or some other beast from the unexplored regions or depths of the world. Doreen is just about to settle into her dorm room, finally, until the squirrel hotline starts to warn her about some kind of extraterrestrial danger that is approaching at some point. It might be a worry for the next issue. It might happen a few issues from now, but something's coming. Either way, I'm interested in this book and I'll pick it up the next issue. I just want something chill and easy to read that's not all tied up into a bunch of crap. This is why I usually read minis and one-shots and lean more towards independent titles over Marvel or DC. So I'll see where this goes. Hope it goes well, because I will totally sit there and watch Squirrel Girl cartoon Saturday morning wearing my tail and eating a bowl of cereal. I'll totally be a 3-year-old. Oh, and I really dig her new outfit, by the way. I went as Squirrel Girl for New York Comic Con in October, and now I totally want to do it again this year with the new duds. But this book is cool. I'm glad it didn't suck. If you just want something lighthearted, pick up this book. It's also child-friendly, so you can give it to your young teens to read, maybe younger. Probably a good book to give to a girl that you'd like to get into comics also, especially if she likes animals. I tend to lean a lot towards animal-based characters myself, like Catwoman and Squirrel Girl and Rocket Raccoon and Beast Boy and Animal Man and Lobster Johnson and the like. If you'd like to see what the rest of the guys thought of the other books that came out alongside of the Unbeatable Squirrel Girl #1, head on over to the link somewhere on your screen for the roundtable discussion. And I hope to talk to you guys again soon. Later.